You know I changed my life. I was in the trap OG, serving out white. Think about it day to day, day and night. Last night I had a drink, and it felt so right. In the trap was serving fiends. But work on triple B. Big 40 in my jeans.
Hip Hop Me Too. Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Hoops. You got the wonderful Chris Blackwood hosting today, and I got my beautiful co-host.
Whoa, beautiful! I'll take that.
You're looking sharp, man. You're looking sharp, man.
You're
looking sharp.
You made my day today. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Let's get it, man.
Let's go, man.
Who we have today with us, man?
Oh, man. We got two special guests today. You know, we got Mr. Devon Jones.
Yes, sir.
The director of YAAACE.
So he came on season 2 with us.
Yes.
It was an amazing interview.
Yes.
Appreciate you, brother. He did it from a park.
Thank you. Yes.
Like in the park. No. Sunny outside, chilling, eating some grapes, and did the interview with us. Beautiful thing.
Definitely.
I was out in the bush in Welland, actually. My son had a baseball practice out there. So,
yes.
You know.
Yes, sir.
I remember that.
And we got the lovely Hunaina Kamran, sorry.
Did you say it properly?
I think I did.
He was close, yeah.
I was close.
Let's
All right.
go.
And she's the project manager of the Towards Peace project. All right. So back to Devon real quick. You know, Devon is an OG, triple OG, I like to call him, in the Jane and Finch community. In all communities, really, but, you know, residing in the Jane and Finch community with the legendary YAAACE program. Yep. You know, I know for a fact, because, you know, I volunteer with YAAACE and I do my thing, coaching the grade 5 team, and I'm just blessed to be a part of an organization that just takes basketball and academics so serious. You know, at the end of the day, Coach Jones, he's been dealing with kids that are heavy in the hip hop game. You know, rest in peace, Smoke Dog.
Smoke Dog.
Definitely.
I got you.
Thank you. And then we got Pressa, you know,
yes.
Houdini, you know. You've been dealing with a lot of guys, Coach Jones, you know.
I want to ask him a quick question. How do you feel knowing that they were in your program? Like, when you see them on TV, you know, doing their thing, like, does that make you smile? Like, wow, like, they came from this program.
It all depends, though.
The good stuff.
The good stuff, that is.
Sometimes I'm like, yo, dude, you can't say that. or, dude, why would you post that?
Right.
Or, you know, but at times when it's positive, it's, you know, especially with some of those young men who have who are from the most adverse circumstances.
Definitely.
And they've used it, they use music as a platform to do something constructive or to get themselves out of some of those deplorable living conditions. Like it's something to applaud. But at the end of the day, you also got to let them know that they have a social responsibility.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Not to perpetrate a lot of the toxic, you know, nauseums that feeds into the violence, right?
Facts.
You know, so as opposed to being a violence producer, I want you to be, you know, a violence preventer now. You know what I'm saying? I want you to mitigate the carnage in community. So, but that is not consistent with the culture.
It isn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately.
So sadly enough. So it's a difficult.
So you see there's a huge connection or correlation between hip hop and gun violence, especially in the city. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So what's your take on that, real quick?
Yeah, you know, I have a level of ambiguity. You know, is it life imitating art or is it art imitating life? You know what I'm saying? So, trying to. Listen, there are pundits who will blame the music and blame the art, but you know, as Tupac, you know, Tupac said it best. You know, they don't see a brother unless he's clutching on a 4-5. But I was there when those kids were babies. I was there when there was no social infrastructure.
That's your favorite artist, Tupac, right?
Yeah,
I remember that. Here you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I was there when those kids had nothing.
Right.
You know, so now they've become what they are, and they're completely demonized. I'm like, well, you know, let's address some of the social factors or the lack of social infrastructure or the level of apathy that facilitated that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So if he's not singing that he wants to go to Harvard, he's singing about blowing someone's head out. Like, let's look at what led to that. You know, like
That's the key point right
yeah,
there.
yeah. There's a book I read, and they're talking about like, you know, the author was like, it's not what's wrong with you. I'm more so fascinated what happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you become like that? Think about the prospect of a young male is at the point where killing means nothing to you, dying means nothing to you. You know, and I've looked in the eyes of these kids, and you juxtapose like, you know, I juxtapose a picture from a child in grade 6, grade 7, grade 8 to a 18, 19-year-old hardened killer with no regards to public safety, human life. And the fascinating thing to me is what was the process that facilitated that?
That's it.
You know, I'm not saying I don't care about his current disposition, but how do we prevent others from having that look in the eyes?
So they say
those eyes say a lot. Like
Say a lot.
those eyes say a lot.
you can see that.
You can see it in those eyes. When I look at these, I just look right in. It's like you look right in the eyes and you see it. You know.
So yo, we got the Towards Peace project. It's bubbling right now. It's a new initiative coming out. It's about to shake up the city in a good way, right?
100%.
Can you guys explain? Can you guys tell us real quick?
You're project manager, correct? Or
Yes.
okay, all right.
So can you tell us what the Towards Peace project is all about?
Devon, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure.
Because I know he's dying to talk about this.
Well, Towards Peace, it's a risk-driven intervention strategy.
Okay.
You know, so tasked with violence prevention and intervention. So as opposed to leaving young people on their own, like Fintino said it best. There's neighborhoods like Jane and Finch, Rexdale, Region. They're built for disaster.
Right.
And part of the main reason they're built for disaster is that these young people they're left to their own device. You know, like how many issues has Woods resolved in community before it escalated? You know, people like Wayne Black and Jaden Finch. How much of those issues have they have completely mitigated or just got literally in between? There's one instance of this frontline worker in between two groups of young people, armed to the teeth, in between them like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the thing is, having a mechanism that will identify the most vulnerable, the most compromised young people in community who are knee-deep involved in this stuff and providing comprehensive case management for them every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you're not trying to figure it out.
No.
If there's beef, like there gotta be. You look at all the initiatives. You look at the peace management initiative in Jamaica with Dr. Horace Levy. You look at advanced peace out of Sacramento, or cure violence out of Boston, or you look at any of these initiatives. It's led by people who are getting in between young people and saying, or the polarized faction and saying, we can't do this and we're not going to do this, as opposed to leaving them on their own. So it's Towards Peace is the brilliant initiative. We have some awesome people in community. It's a city funded project.
Okay.
You have Black Creek as the anchor agency.
Nice.
You have the lead agency. You have the city. You have the anchor. You have the two leads. Hunaina is with Black Creek Community and Health Center. She's a project manager.
Yeah.
My man, yours truly, is one of the project leads.
Yeah, I kind of jumped on it.
Because he's in community interacting with these young people in the same
Every day.
In every day. So you need boots on the ground. So who has ears to the ground that can identify who these young people are, can identify what these issues are in real time, so we can address them in real time. And then you have the grassroots you have Think Twice. That's led by Zia Brown, and YAAACE, that's led by myself. And it's, they're dealing, Think Twice is dealing more with Rexdale. Right. I'm dealing more so with Jane and Finch, up, top, down, bottom. They're dealing with the Mount Olive, Jamestown, situation in
So this is something I see in Director X. Like, he pretty much invested. He tried something like this, or he's done something
he pushed
like
it.
this.
Like, he was pushing it. So he was pushing the city to he was pushing the city to bring this to life.
All right.
You know? So yeah, I mean, and I gotta say, like, there's two brilliant sisters at the city, Tamasha and Serena, they're instrumental in bringing this thing to life.
Okay.
At Black Creek, I mean, the anchor Cheryl Prescott, Josie Nelson, they're
These are all the community partners here.
community partners.
yeah. They were like, and sometimes you got to give people people roses once they're here, man. Like, those are brilliant.
They've been
awesome
putting in
people.
work for a long time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
definitely.
And some of them are, I don't know, Tamasha lost her brother tragically, Jane and Finch. So like, it's more than a bureaucrat sitting someplace dictating. It's people with lived experiences who knows the issues that can really lobby their colleagues in government
Right.
to put meaningful infrastructure in place that can address gun violence in a real way. Because, the culture of reciprocal and reprisal shootings, like, just think about if someone killed your cousin or kill your brother or kill your best friend, kill your uncle. Just think about it, man. Like,
It's tough.
how are we going to address that? You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we have, especially with young people, we have people on the ground to help them, to walk them through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's a
what
tough
we're here for.
job, man.
It is, man.
Tough
It is.
job.
It is. It is. A lot of mental health is involved in this. Obviously, it's a huge discussion point. But what is the public health approach to this movement?
So there are two schools of thought. There's a healthcare approach,
Right.
and then there's a public health approach. So let me use COVID as an example. If you got COVID and I'm just at your house with you, or Chris, you got to get better, all that stuff, that's the healthcare approach. The public health approach is understanding that there's a bigger social
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
phenomenon taking place. Okay, let's contact trace.
Right.
Right?
Obviously.
Let's go with the mask. Let's create public awareness. Public health, the public health approach is dealing with one. The healthcare approach is looking at all the systemic pieces that would facilitate and addressing them in a very comprehensive way. So you can completely eradicate whatever that nauseum is.
All right. Bet.
What are some methods of engagement?
So we have three major methods of engagement. The first one is in-person disruption of violence, which is kind of what Devon had led to. So we have violence disruptors who are identifying these individuals who need the support and walking them through it. So that's the in-person approach. Right. And then we have e-mediation. So e-mediators are kind of online and seeing the content that's out there and which have the potential to escalate and turn into bigger conflicts.
Right. A lot of these beefs are happening online.
Online these
You know what I
days.
mean?
Yeah.
Didn't the police kind of jump in and a few bloggers actually got arrested?
A lot of them
Yeah.
got shut down.
Right?
Today, yeah.
Because they I guess they posted something,
Some courtroom
some
stuff.
court stuff, court video, and then So
how can we? Is there any way to like monetize that? Like the way they use YouTube and they get online and they start talking this craziness. Why doesn't YouTube shut it down? There's no way for that to happen.
I don't think so.
understand
I
that.
think it generates so much views, man.
That's all they care about.
I think so.
Basically.
But you know what I think? I think that's where policing has to and I remember you're dealing with civil liberties like freedom for speech.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you're dealing with people's constitutional rights.
Right.
And then if I shut you down for saying that, where do you draw the line?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a very delicate place to be. But I do agree, like, if you're a violence producer or if you're instigating violence in these public
That's what I'm
forums,
saying.
you should be completely removed.
Because the way they do
You
it
know
on
what I'm saying?
Instagram, if you get too wild on Instagram, they're gonna
report
shut you
it.
down.
They'll
They're
shut
gonna
you down.
report it and you're done.
Shout out Boosie.
Yeah. So I don't understand why they can't do the same method, on YouTube, because you see these guys, you could almost, if you're a police officer, almost like, solve the whole case just looking at YouTube.
100%.
The way these guys talk.
Actually, they are.
I
I think a lot of these kids are not kids, but young adults. They're kind of baiting themselves out
Absolutely.
per se with all the activity that they're expressing online. You know what
because
I mean?
they're using that to generate the buzz and the
Exactly.
views.
100%.
And then
Exactly.
that's what's throwing them in jail after.
Right.
And also what they're doing, like you might have one IG site that reps one block,
Right.
or rep, you know what I'm saying, or rep at another. So if I'm gonna troll Driftwood, or I'm gonna troll Lane, or I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying. So Toronto is really split in two. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
you know what I'm saying. So
So sorry to cut you off. I know we talked about you got disruptors on the ground, you
Yep.
got disruptors online.
Yep.
What was the third one?
The third one is the hospital-based intervention.
Okay.
So there will be one case manager in the hospitals who are going to engage with survivors of violence and kind of support them through it so that they're not at the risk of re-injury or resorting to violence.
Okay.
So that's the third approach.
Okay.
and we're also trying to build in the peace with those in correctional facilities.
Okay.
I mean, because that person that was injured, he's gone. So that person that was injured, someone injured him. So where is
Yeah.
where is he?
Right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
just
So-
retaliation, like, you know,
yeah,
that's
you know,
the scary part.
You know, so it's identifying. You know, a lot of the issues in the community starts in those correctional facilities. So it's also identifying those people in those facilities. Like I was telling you earlier about one young man I used to connect with when there was an apex violence producer. I used to connect with him extensively when he was inside. You know, before he was released and was tragically killed. You know, but
That was recent.
that was a few years back.
Okay.
You know, so.
So when is the Peace Project gonna launch? I think everybody wants to know that.
It's not the project. Well,
Towards
the
Peace.
peace project is something else. But
Right.
Towards Peace is
Right.
we're gonna launch in the new year.
Nice.
We're gonna launch it in the new year. And you know, one piece I forgot to mention was on the ground. We have the violence disruptors, so they're gonna be the boots on the ground.
Yes.
You alluded to it. So did Hunaina. Connecting with those who are at the center of producing this violence.
And where are these violence disruptors? Where are they going to be located?
But they're gonna be in the hood.
They're going to be in the hood. They're going to be right in the heart, right? So
So you said the Peace Project is something different. What is the Peace Project?
So the Peace Project is a $10,000 grant, which is awarded to youth groups for anti-violence initiatives.
okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's something that's coming up very soon. So if you have viewers who are interested, please tell us to apply. Tell them to apply to us.
All right. And this is the Two Wards Peace Project. Right. So lastly, where can we find out more information about the Towards Peace Project?
You can find out more information on the Black Creek Community Health Center website, which is www.bcchc.com. Or you can reach out to me via email. My email address is hunaina.kamran@bcchc.com.
Nice.
Sorry, I have a very long name.
Okay, I have one too. It's okay.
Yes, man. But before we stop this, but in regards to, like I said, hip hop and the gun violence, like I'm so happy to be a part of a movement that's actually trying to find a solution. You know what I mean? I see Doug Ford putting out 75 mil. Who knows where that's gonna go? Hopefully it goes towards,
Policing.
well, that's cool if it's going towards policing, but some of that got to go towards projects like this, I think, because the more dollars involved gets more people involved to develop that rapport. Rapport is everything in my eyes.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with policing.
Definitely
Believe
not.
me when I tell you that, police, if you're gonna put 75 mil towards policing, then put 75 mil towards social infrastructure.
That's it.
So when they say 75 million towards police, are they hiring more police officers? What are they getting new uniforms? I don't know. What do you mean? Why do they need that much money?
I would listen. Public safety is at a point, and there's so much vulnerable young people and young people that's predisposed to killing that I have no issues. You can give police 200 million. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But let's fix some of those dilapidated schools.
Right.
As it stands right now, every rec center in Toronto is closed. You got school. You got schools in Jane and Finch with a social worker that pops in half a day a week.
Yeah.
With young people who was exposed to so much violence. You know what I'm saying? Abandonment and neglect, lone parent homes. You got young people suffering, access to nothing. So there's nothing wrong with funding police, but there's something wrong when that is seen as a panacea that is the cure to fixing this.
Right.
When the research and the evidence tells us that's not the case. You know, you have to balance that off with social infrastructure and programming.
Definitely.
I agree.
I agree as well, man. Well,
Sorry, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you had asked us where we're doing this, where we're doing towards peace.
Yeah.
So the two areas that we're targeting are Jane and Finch and Rexdale.
Rexdale?
yes.
What,
I just didn't want to say the
said
physical
Black-
location.
You said Black Creek. I thought you said Black Creek at one point.
Yeah. Well, Black Creek
The Humber River Black Creek is like Jane and
Located-
Finch. And,
Okay.
Yorkgate Mall.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And Sheridan Mall. But
And Sheridan, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot Sheridan. All right, well, yo, Devon, Hunaina, thank you for
Appreciate you guys coming in.
providing this information. I think it's definitely needed. I can't wait for this project to start because
Absolutely.
I'll be a part of it, and this is going to be something epic, I feel. So,
Guys,
I'm
come
ready to
back
work.
and bring little X with you, man, and come back. Let's do it again, man. Let's go
Definitely.
longer, you know?
let's do it, man.
Yeah.
let's do it.
Looking forward to it.
Looking
Thank you
forward
so
to
much
it as
for
well.
having us.
No problem. Thank you
no
guys for
problem.
coming out.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Well, that's just another episode of HipHop Hoops. You know, you can follow us on Apple
Podcast?
Podcasts.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Spotify,
and
YouTube.
YouTube. You know, we're
Subscribe,
hip-hop.
like.
Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We're Hip Hop Me Too.
Serving out what? Think about it day to day, day and night. Last night I had a drink, and it felt so right.
Good stuff, man.
Let's hope it works, man. Let's hope we can put a dent on it, you know?
Definitely.